Hello, everyone. How's it going? Welcome back to another stream. Whoa, wait, what the hell? Devon's
Back.
back. And who's this bisexual man in between us?
What?
We put you in a bisexual frame, so I guess that's just your identity now.
Oh, I see. I didn't notice the colors.
Devon?
This is
fine.
crazy to think about because I think like most of Godzilla X Kong's branding is that. So I believe that Kong and Godzilla are bisexual partners. Because they have like the purple and like the blue
Oh.
like for all their branding. So I agree. I think I see that. That's the real any movies before bisexual lighting was a thing, that's also bisexual now. That's how it works.
I
Yeah, it
see.
is now.
Well, you went to the land of the rising bisexual sun, Devon.
What?
Japan. Their flag is it's the rising sun, but like now,
is.
Yeah, I
you
just
know.
didn't understand where I was going at first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Devon's back. He's been gone for like a month. He's been overseas
This would be a
in
lot
a war
longer if it
zone,
was-
battling the nerds in Otaku Land itself in Japan, and he's come back
right.
with a sales report, this PowerPoint presentation.
All the lines went up. Don't worry. Spoilers,
Perfect.
but
How many
lines went
metrics
up.
did you make up to say it went up for this quarter to impress our
Right.
investors?
Right. Well, you see,
Um,
I took less flight. I took the quickest flight possible, so we saved
Less
money.
emissions too, which
Less
I mean,
emissions. See?
our company is now green thanks to your efforts.
Do we
Perfect.
travel every day of the week? Yes, but we take the quick flights, so it's not as bad.
Nice.
Um,
Now, folks,
yeah.
this might be a little bit of a janky stream, so apologies in advance if we have any technical difficulties.
It's our first time trying this kind
Right.
of method.
There's a few different things we're trying for the first time. Being friends is one of them. Having 3 people on a stream, and then
David,
screen
stop.
sharing a PowerPoint as well. I do just want to make a personal announcement. While I have tried it in tiny can form, I'm now going to be trying over the course of the stream the Oreo Coca-Cola Zero.
I saw that. I
Or
heard it tastes
what?
like just like
I thought you were
vanilla.
kidding when you texted
No,
me that.
No, I saw
still
it.
have
I
one of
saw
the
it
tiny
other day.
cans as well.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so
I
I'm
heard
gonna,
it just
I'm gonna
tastes
see
like
what
vanilla. So
it
you gotta let us
tasted.
know.
It tasted decently fine. There are people that were like blown out of their freaking gourd over it, and wasn't
Blown
like
out of their
that.
gourd.
But
I like all the Halloween
holiday.
jokes.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
trying it. I'm gonna be
Gourds.
trying it.
Well,
any
guess
any
what?
other
Their
personal
pumpkins were
announcements?
destroyed.
I have a personal announcement. I don't think Ethan would know the context, but remember like a year ago, David, that Liquid
Yeah.
Death announced
Oh
they're
my
changing
god.
their
Yeah, I think I saw that.
their armless Palmer to
Mhm.
Dead Billionaire, and I thought it was a joke to like
Wonder if I
play
have
up
the
on
old
it.
one.
But now I've actually seen it in the wild, and I got it just for the sake of the stream. Yeah,
Yeah, I
says
think I
Dead Billionaire
bought it
now on it.
recently.
And now
I think it's
that's an
getting shipped
actual
here.
like
Let me see. Let me get the old
flavored
one.
thing, right? That isn't just water in a can.
It's like Arnold Palmer kind of
Okay.
tasting water.
Because
Yeah,
the Liquid Death that's just water in a can to me feels really dumb. If it's like a flavored thing, then I get it.
yeah, I like their other ones more, but I thought it was a joke when I heard that they're like, "Hey, we're getting sued by Arnold Palmer's estate for calling it Armless Palmer because it's supposed to be that kind of flavor.
Right.
So we're changing it to Dead Billionaire to mock him." And I thought that was a funny joke, like a social media thing, because I kept seeing Arnold Armless Palmer for like a good year. It's been like a year ago when they announced it. Now
It's
I
a new
finally
one.
saw it. Saw it. Is that the
It's
same
the new
one?
one. Yeah. They must have done it a while ago. I haven't. Cheers.
Nice. Also, Devon, I'm
Trying to
going
hydrate.
slide you
hydrate.
over a bit.
That's fine.
I was gonna ask
Yeah,
you to
I'm
move,
trying
but
to-
I'm just gonna slide you
I'm trying
over.
to. Yeah, I think it's
Go.
good.
Go. All right, boys. This will be a quick, like I think 30-second stream, and then we'll be out of here.
We should do a 30-second stream just for the meme of it, like hype it up.
I went
as
to
this big
Japan.
thing.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks.
It was great, guys. Thanks for coming.
Sweet.
But yes, Devon has, from what I gather, he said something about a 650 slide PowerPoint.
Yes. Actually, it's
Um,
1,000.
They're all videos on these slides as well.
Yep,
so
about
strap
40
in.
minutes each.
40 minutes each.
Now, man, I've had family. I don't know exactly what you're going to be doing, but I've had family members like, we went on a Disney World trip, and then now at the family gathering, you're gonna watch our look at our photos and all that like the
all of
TV,
them.
and no one really wants to, but no one wants to say that either. So we're all sitting there kind of bored.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of similar to this. I just know family has been asking us to like, because like we put the photos online, but they definitely want more context. I think if it was us just going to like Paris or whatever, that's one thing. I think for a lot of people, especially my family, except for people who are maybe in the military who've maybe stayed in like Korea or Philippines. No one in my family has really been to Japan outside of my grandfather. Uh, he was stationed in Okinawa during the Korean War. That's the last time
Wow.
someone has been in Japan on at least on my dad's side. I know a lot of my folks on my mom's side who are in the Air Force and stuff have gone to like the Philippines because that's where uh, my uncle met his now wife in the Philippines. But then I think my uncle and aunt who live here, they met in Korea back in the day when they both were stationed there.
Oh wow.
But no one's been to Japan to my knowledge. So I kind of made this, and it's also just for easy for me to like kind of loosely present it. But yeah, I was already going to do this, and I was like, you know what? Let me just use it for stream as well. But I'll try to go kind of quick through it because I can theoretically spend I feel like forever talking about this because it was really really cool. But yeah, I try to do it day by day and kind of pick the best photos. There is some video clips, but nothing's like crazy in here. I try to keep it going as much as possible. But this is the first time I've actually like presented this. So yeah, but I go to Ethan where it's like Disney World. I'm like, when I feel like it's
Yeah.
something most people have access to or have gone to in America, that's one thing. But
I
unless
feel
you're doing
like
like a cool editing way of doing it, I think that's cool. Like if you can do like a
Yeah.
20-minute video that you turned into like this fun thing. I was trying to do a Sonic video. We'll talk about that.
Oh no.
But I didn't. One, I was having phone storage space issues, which has been a problem for the last like 2 years now. I'm just really don't want to get a new phone. And then I also just didn't see a lot of Sonic the Hedgehog stuff.
Wow.
So
Spoilers.
I'll tell you more about that, but I'll still try to make a video, but it's going to be like a short versus a.
Okay.
My goal was to do like a 10 to 15 minute like Sonic the Hedgehog in Japan video, and it's like no, he's just not here. I guess
Wow.
even
Yeah,
with
they
the
don't
movie
care.
coming out.
Well, we'll title it "Searching
Nothing.
for Sonic" and make it an hour-long documentary that leads up to the footage
Oh
of
my
you
God,
not
do a
finding
video
Just 3
essay,
minutes.
style.
Yeah.
The first 30 minutes me talking about going to the trip, then the next 30
how
is
much
me
Sonic
going.
means to you, how much you're looking
And then
forward to
the last
this.
30 is me talking about why there is no Sonic. Yeah. But yeah, this is Brent and I's trip, obviously. So I think there's more photos of Brent in here, honestly, than me. Because I don't know. I feel weird putting myself in stuff sometimes. Surprisingly. But yeah, this is Devon and Brent's Japan trip 2024. And all these beautiful flowers you see weren't in bloom when they're there because they're usually in bloom in May, just like they are in DC, the cherry blossoms. So maybe next time I go, I'll try to go during then. But yeah, let's see if this works.
Computer explode.
Oh, it's just delayed. It's just delayed. Oh my God.
Oh
pressed
my
the
God!
button.
You can
Spoiler.
slow down. You don't need
I
to go
know.
that fast.
So yeah, we left on. We were
Wait,
there
question.
for.
Sorry, how
Yes.
many days? So we have a reference. For the
There
frame
is,
of time.
I think 14, technically 13 days, but it felt like 14 because of the travel. If that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah.
So August 31st, we came back the 14th, 15th. But like with the traveling, it felt longer. Like it was Monday in Japan when we came back here on Sunday. So, that's how kind of where it's confusing. But yeah, we started in Denver, obviously. We flew to Vancouver. Then we did layover there. It was only like an hour, which was pretty nice.
Wow.
And then Vancouver to Osaka. So yeah, we moved real quick. There wasn't like a 5-hour layover. And we got a crazy deal on this flight, like because originally we were going to do direct because they just announced some direct flights from Denver to
Oh wow.
I think it was Osaka through I think it was American Airlines. But like they were going for like 2,000 each.
Jeez. Yeah.
We got these for 1,000, and it was cheaper than going actually to like Europe, and some places in America, which is crazy. But yeah, we got this really great deal on it. Flew Air Canada. This is not a sponsor, but Air Canada wasn't that bad. But yeah, we checked out all the cool gifts. I really want to go to Vancouver now. I mean, I always heard Vancouver was cool, but like this was in their airport down here, the bottom there. You see
okay. I thought that was Osaka.
No, yeah, that's Vancouver. It's kind of like a indigenous kind of, I think, inspired like hawk or something. That's why the Seahawks kind of look like that. But yeah, Vancouver just looked really cool, like just from flying in, because it's just like it's like really dense forest, but somehow there's a city built in between it. It just looks really cool compared to a lot of American cities where like tear it all fucking down, no trees here. Just looked really nice.
Right.
Yeah, just here's some more photos. There's Palm Pals again.
Oh, is that the maple leaf on the flag?
Oh, that's
that's what Bryn was holding.
Very Canada coded.
And then I think this photo is either us going into Vancouver or the Rocky Mountains. I don't really remember. Some mountains that looked cool.
Yeah, that was very cool.
And then this is the flight to Japan. So for those who maybe have never taken an international flight on these bigger planes, there's usually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seats across compared to your normal maybe 6 or 4 total. So it's a big flight. We were able to pick our seats. Luckily, we didn't pay extra for it, which is cool. And usually in the past, we've been in the window seats. And I was like, you know what? Just for my comfortability, it's the longest flight I've ever done. I'm tall as fuck. It's really annoying to like kind of be crammed in. So me and Bryn were able to get the middle seats here. So Bryn was in the middle and I was on the aisle, so I could stretch my legs out a little bit. And then this is weird. I've never seen this before. Was that the Sahara Desert? Yes. We were in Africa. I don't know how it worked, but somehow we got.
It's a crazy flight
layover in Africa. Yeah,
Vancouver, and then all the way around.
Yeah, and then these windows I thought were like I've never seen this before, where they are tinted. Like even though it is like
hey, you'll get pulled over if you do that.
I know we can't fly to Vegas. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. So they were able to kind of control the lighting coming into it, even though it's noon or whatever. And we just reviewed Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm not going to spoil what we gave it, but Five Nights at Freddy's was one of the movies that was an option on this flight, and I almost watched it to knock it out. But I'm like, nah, I don't think that's fair to watch this kind of movie on a flight. But they had other horror movies, and I was really surprised by some of them. One of them was Clockwork Orange, where I'm like,
whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, who's watching Clockwork Orange?
I would feel so awkward.
Because there's like crazy sex scenes in it and violence and just a lot of that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of other horror movies. There's, I think, Halloween Kills was on there, and I'm like, what are they? Because they always edit these movies, right, to a certain degree. But I'm like, how much violence do they showing? But I did watch Jeepers Ascending on the way back, and there was one part where a girl comes out of a pool, and I could tell that they definitely cut it to where, they don't show boobs, but they did show her butt, and it was like, any kids watching this? I'm about to like give them an awakening. But yeah, here's our little flight here. 9 hours and 43 minutes. This is from Vancouver. Wow. So we flew about 2.5 hours from Denver to Vancouver.
It's one big ocean.
So actually it was a little bit quicker than I thought it was. Still the longest flight, I think, but it was definitely
over Alaska.
We did. We're near Russia too. Closest I'll ever be to Russia, probably, unfortunately.
I got bad news on your next assignment.
I mean, I would go to Russia, but I don't think now's the time. Day 2, technically still in the air while this is happening, and you can see our little plane flying in, flying into KIX Osaka. So yeah, technically day 2 is happening while we're in the air, but it still feels like day 1, but kind of late.
Right.
But I did sleep really well on this flight, which is rare for me. Usually I don't sleep at all, and then I'm dying for 3 days. But we arrived in Osaka at 4:20 p.m. Nice.
Nice.
And we had and since we were
That's
kind
not the
of
nice number.
and I had to we took a bus, like it's called like a limousine bus that took us all the way to, I believe, Osaka Umeda station, and then we took a train from there to our hotel, and then on the way back, I'll talk about it later, but we learned that we could have taken a different train there, but it's our first time there, and I did a lot of research going in about transportation because that was my biggest like nervousness is like
Right.
understanding what's the
Yeah.
best route, and Google Maps only shows you what they think is the best. There's a lot of routes that aren't on Google. No way, brother made a PowerPoint presentation.
It's a sales presentation. Strap in. We're
I
going to see
did
our
not.
quarterly earnings.
Take a seat.
But yeah, here's some photos coming in.
Can I ask a question? Actually, now that
yeah.
you're in Japan in this PowerPoint here, how much Japanese did you know going in? How many terms did you prepare for?
Yeah.
Well, I
question.
what's funny is we were doing Duolingo for about, I think, 30 days at this point because Discord actually was coincidentally giving out free Duolingo for 3 months, and I wound up paying for the year for it just because I think I'm gonna keep trying to learn Japanese. I do it every night now, and it's like a fun because it's like they have little games part of it, so it's kind of fun to do it. But some of it was helpful. I think it wasn't even like the language that I was more nervous about. It was about like some of the customs, right? Of like when do I bow? When do I say thank you? How much do I say thank you? So I didn't know too much. I knew kind of some very basic stuff. I feel like more now because of doing Duolingo and actually going there. I feel like I picked up on some things. The main thing I learned here real quick was arigato gozaimasu. You say that, meaning it's like the proper way to say thank you so much. That's what you should say to strangers versus just saying arigato. I'd only say arigato to you guys versus the 7-Eleven clerk, but everyone does that. They do a slight nod, and I was a little nervous going into about that being like, one, will I be doing it right? And even if I am doing it right, will I find it to be maybe too much or annoying, maybe even?
Right.
And I wind up really digging it, and I kind of came away with it being like, man, I think it's how cool it is how thankful they seem to be about the little things. So like they'll say arigato gozaimasu even if you're shopping, just entering their little store, or
it's like
taking
a super polite culture, right? Like everyone's like very thoughtful of one another.
Expected one too. Like
that's the other thing. I don't know how much of them really care about that. Maybe they hate it. I don't know, but at least for me, I don't know. I always try to be. Not trying to humble brag here, but I don't know. I feel like for a lot of people, I try to, be thankful for like when, even if it's just hanging out with people or talking to people at work, I'll try to be like, oh yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Like, appreciate you. Like, I'll say that a lot because I really do. I try to say that. I don't know. I just had a lot of
yesterday, or I mean, you never said thank you to me.
I always say thank you. But no, I just like, so I kind of had that attitude, but like seeing everyone do it, I kind of like, man, I want to keep doing that more and kind of bring that level of respect to people, even people you don't know. I'll talk about it more, but there's a couple moments, couple times that people, like complete strangers, went out of their way to help us when it's a huge inconvenience for us, and they're complete strangers. We'd even ask them for help.
That's awesome.
And I've never had that before in any other country I visited, where I'd have to usually ask, or sometimes I feel like I am bothering them.
Right.
But these are like complete strangers. But I'll get into that.
I feel like a lot of Europe is like that. Another question too, since we're on the topic of etiquette and reciprocal behavior from strangers in a foreign culture to you. Anyone get mad at you? Anyone be like, you're too loud on the train, you're supposed to be quiet? Anyone do that kind of stuff?
Only on the Air Canada flight, I forgot to put the thing up after I took something out. The overhead compartment, I forgot to put the thing up, and they're like, you got to put this thing up. I'm like, yo, I'm sorry, and I felt so bad the whole flight, knowing me. I can't take a little bit of like a criticism, not even criticism.
The rest of the flight.
I'm just like, and the one time I did it again, I went to the bathroom, came back, and I almost. No one caught me. I'm like, if they caught me, I swear I was gonna get kicked off this flight or something.
Well, I guess I didn't mean like the people on the plane. I meant
no,
like...
I know, but no, I didn't have No, I don't think anyone. I mean, I think they would. Some of them were more stern than others, but I didn't come across as me as being like annoyed. It seemed more just like, hey, this is how I speak English. I don't know. Usually from older folks, I feel like I noticed that, but I think that's just a language barrier and a generational thing.
Probably.
Yeah. So I didn't find it disrespectful. They're just like, they'll be like, no shoes in here, please. They'd say it like that, not like enforcingly, but like it wasn't. Yeah, that's the only time I would say. But yeah, no. Is Japan expensive to live in? Well, I did a tour later on in this trip, and they kind of talked about housing prices. And I would say yes, but they also got to remember too. It's cheaper there, like in terms of our housing, but the issue is they don't get paid as much there.
Right.
Like they have and also the yen at this time when we went,
Yeah.
and still did go down. It is on the way back up, but it's nowhere close to what it was 2 years ago. We got, I guess, lucky for us, but not great for them of the yen being down, and there's been a lot of economy issues. And a lot of stuff closed during COVID. There's a lot of things I
Right.
wanted to do that
Like the big
closed.
Sega arcade center, it closed during COVID.
There was just like, but there was like a bar kind of place we wanted to go to where all the waiters and waitresses are dressed as mechs that I wanted to go to, and it was closed permanently, unfortunately. And I'm like, damn, dude, I want to go see a bunch of people dressed as mechs serve food.
Cool.
That's funny.
Here's your chicken tenders, sir.
The big Tekken creator, Harada, has a bar in Japan somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of restaurants here. I mean, you could go down one street and there's, I feel like, 20, like, and there'll be hole in the walls. There's like ones where there's no advertising unless you know about it. Like one of the last ones we did was literally an alleyway, like about maybe this wide. Like I had to like turn, and there's just like a little door, and then all of a sudden you're in this little hole in the wall kind of place where you stand and eat, and everyone was really cool there. But on Google Maps it just says it's at the end of the street. Yeah, we took us a little bit to find it, but so it makes me think too is that these restaurants maybe either don't make much money. They probably don't make much money, but I also don't think they expect to make that much money compared to like here where I'm not getting a certain amount of profit, we're just going to close. Versus here where it's like these hole in the wall places only can fit maybe 6 people in it at a time, and you're serving someone maybe for 2 hours, and they're only open 3 to 11, and they have 2 waiters and a cook, like, and then you got to pay them a living wage, right? Hopefully. They can't be making that much money, and the food was cheap. It'd be like in USD equivalent, like for like a full big meal we paid for was still maybe like $30 for both of us. Like it was compared to Denver for 2 of us combined. People? Yeah,
that's
like some
insane.
of them. Like yeah, there was the nicer restaurants you can go to, of course, but like for getting like a miso dish or something like that that's really filling, yeah, it would be like $10, sure, and there's no tipping either.
Yeah,
it's actually
yeah
disrespectful to tip there. It seems as if they didn't do a good enough job.
Like you're belittling them.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But
actually, before we move on again, sorry, I'm going to be doing this all the time.
No, you're good.
Economy question here for folks that might know. I don't know if any of us. I don't know. That's why I'm asking the question. But so the yen is really weak to the USD right now. It's just weak in general, right? Does Devon going to Japan to spend his money there help or hurt the Japan economy?
I think my understanding is it does mean a lot of their economy is based off travel or tourists, especially in places like Okinawa, and like Tokyo. There's a lot more foreigners there. I felt Osaka was a little bit more. But like once you go to like places like I went to Hiroshima, for example, for a day trip, there was really no foreigners there, outside of when we went to the Hiroshima Peace Museum. There was more there. But yeah, I think it helps. I mean, it's like it's no different than I think some of the Caribbean islands, right, where they're poor countries, but they get most of their income from tourism. I know it's like Cuba gets a lot of their money from tourism because of they're getting blockaded by America. But like they get a lot of money from tourism, and they were doing great back when we didn't have the restrictions on them under Obama. Just as an example, Japan's obviously one of the bigger, even though if their yen's down or whatever, their economy's not great, they're still one of the biggest economies in the world considering how small they are. But yeah, it didn't feel like if I came here and had no knowledge about their economy, I think I wouldn't have been able to tell, if that makes sense. Though, like nothing was like closed down. You know what I mean? There wasn't like a lot of closures, but maybe it's just the part of the towns I was in. But
yeah, I think in general, like you're saying, like spending money helps. I think the only time when it would hurt is if because they know Americans can spend it, and then all of a sudden
the
Japanese
locals
nationals can't.
Oh, sure,
That's when I think would be bad. But spending the money in general is good.
And I think
didn't know if it's like, more money leads to inflation, or you know what I mean, like that. I don't know how.
Well, I think inflation's also a whole other conversation that's been debated about what causes inflation.
I just want to know if we should be blaming Devon or praising Devon. That's just the general, you know.
Yeah. That's a good question. What else was I gonna say? But speaking of foreigners, because I'll just get this off the top. When we went, like I said, it's still technically summer and it was humid as hell. But I was for sure was expecting to see like a bunch of Americans, and like maybe some Europeans, but I'm like, Europe, that's even farther. Like really, when you think about it, that's technically farther away.
They'd probably fly the other way, like over the land.
Yeah. I did talk to some folks from like Germany and stuff. And they flew. They'll be like, I had a layover in Russia, Romania, China. And then Romania to here, Istanbul, and here, or even India, from here. Yeah. But actually, surprisingly, I did not see many Americans. But I could tell when they were American, which is a funny thing. Because some of the Europeans there's a lot of New Zealanders too. You got to think about that, and Australians, because for them this is an easier trip. So I did talk to more New Zealanders I think I'll ever do, unless I go to New Zealand.
Pretty cool.
I would love to go there.
And I talked to some folks, a lot of folks from China as well.
And, I mean, I'm sure you could tell the Americans because obviously they need their comfort Ford F-150, so they brought that with them to drive around in Japan.
And I thought for sure, I was like, okay, I'm gonna, because this is so selfish. I'll say at the top right here. But when I go to places, I'm always like, I want less foreigners. Even though I'm the foreigner, I want less foreigners.
You want to be the special flower. I get it.
I want to be the special flower. But it really did feel like sometimes we were just by ourselves, which was pretty cool. But most of the time, if I did see foreigners, it was Europeans, a lot of Italians, and Spaniards. And I remember Bryn at one point was like, it was like halfway through our trip, she's like, "Can I say something?" I'm like, "Yeah, go for it." She's like, I thought for sure we'd see annoying Americans, but it's been the Italians who've been the most like obnoxious. And I'm like, I was thinking the same thing. I was gonna say the same thing, but I didn't. I'm just like, maybe it's just. But yeah, there was like one point we're going to the Tokyo Tower up the elevator, and the lady's trying to do like a spiel about how high we're going up, and history about it, and in English, wasn't her first language, so she was kind of going slow with it, maybe not the best. And I'm trying to listen to her, and then the Italian people are just talking out loud the entire time about something, and I'm like, bro, I'm trying to listen to what she's saying. She's trying to do like a little tour for free.
Shush him.
I'm like, come on, dude. But I'll love the Italians. I want to go there one day.
Devon, are you moving your mouse or something?
Let me click on it.
I
think
flashing.
I see that. Yeah, sorry to our epileptic folks. Is that the correct word? What the hell is going on?
Yeah, I'm didn't clicking know if on that it. Was. Well, are you moving your mouse off that monitor? You know what I mean?
No. We'll just keep an eye on it.
Weird.
But yeah, let's get to our first real day here, folks. Day 3, woke up. Well, first we got there that night. First thing, got back to our hotel, checked in. Then we're like, okay, let's go get some snacks and foods. Went down to a Family Mart down the street. There's a Family Mart pretty much at every corner, and 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven is like the most clutch thing in Japan.
They're
especially
huge.
if in case you are like, oh crap, we didn't eat dinner, and now it's like 9 o'clock and maybe things are closed and you don't want to go too far. 7-Eleven, go there. And there's plenty of meals, like pre-prepped meals. There's people there getting stuff, I think, for the next day.
Wow.
Convenience stores are a huge thing there, and I'm kind of jealous, low key, because I'm like, yeah, we have 7-Elevens, but there's like 5, and they're like spread out, and
Right.
maybe it's
Yeah,
at
you
a
don't want
gas
to eat the hot
station.
dogs.
You don't want to eat the hot dogs. Here, you're like, yeah, give me that chicken on a stick. Hell yeah, dude.
Wow.
But yeah, we went to the first day. We went to Osaka Castle, so we got up around 8. We slept in a little bit because we went to bed at like 9, so we really got a good sleep. I felt pretty good. But yeah, the weather was real sticky most of this trip. It only rained once, and that was the first night we were there.
That's fortunate.
But it was really, really humid. It was like 80% humidity, 85 degrees every day we were
Oh
there.
boy.
Britain hated it. I learned to adjust to it. I think growing up too, like where we were in Rochester, New York, I lived near Lake Ontario, so it was always humid most of the time in the summer. So for me, I was like kind of comfortable. Still not my full preference. I think a good like 50% humidity is like the perfect amount where it's not too dry but not too wet either. Because compared to here, it's 10%
zero.
outside, and I'm like dying every morning.
Yeah.
So I'd rather have this in a way. But yeah, really humid. So you sweat real quick. As soon like this photo of me in the little train here that takes you to Osaka Castle for 2 yen. I was already drenched in sweat at this point, and we just got off the train, subway to here. So
I feel like you just gotta accept it. Like you're gonna be drenched in sweat.
Yeah.
Like once
the
you
first
accept
couple
it, you're
days
fine.
was like, oh my god, I'm gonna go through all my clothes, and I'm like, you know what? Everyone else is going through it too. Everyone had little fans, and
I was gonna ask if you, because I sent you probably a few weeks before you left, like some stuff I had heard of like heat sinks that you put on the back of like your just below
they had
your
all
neck, or like
they had a
menthol
bunch
wipes
of that.
and
Yeah, we got a like a little like hand towel that we brought with us. Our hotel let us rent kind of a UV umbrella. We did get one of those fans towards the end of our trip, and I'm like, you know what? I'm actually gonna bring this to work, or maybe on stream. I'm gonna see if I can find it to where the mic doesn't pick it up, because you know how hot it does get in here. I could have a little one blowing on me, but yeah, there's UV umbrellas which are really cool. We bought one of those to bring back to Denver because we do get, you know, a lot of sun here, so I think that'd be nice if you don't have to always put sunscreen on. You can use a UV umbrella, so they're basically like just blacked out compared to your regular umbrellas.
UV, by the way, for folks that don't know, stands for ultraviolence. So
yes,
it
ultraviolence
protects him from riots.
Oh my god.
But yeah, went to Osaka Castle, which is one of the oldest castles in Japan. I think it's been rebuilt though, because of America. You're welcome, I guess. From the fire bombs and stuff. Unfortunately, there's a lot of. I'll get more into that, but there's a lot of the history was cool, and but you could. It was just kind of sad though throughout to be like, this was rebuilt in what year? 1947, 1948. It's just like, yep, you can tell like what areas got hit. And we'll talk about Hiroshima as well when we get there. But Osaka Castle is really cool though. Each floor was like a museum about the history of the different shoguns and samurai that like occupied this castle at one point or fought for this castle. Unfortunately, a lot of that stuff, like it was just so much information and something I'm not familiar with. So I kind of feel like I can't even tell you what happened, but I know there's a lot of battles fought for this thing. And this is also surrounded by a moat. There's only one entrance you can get into it. Take a little, it's walking on this little bridge, and there's just a big moat to this day that's all walled up. And then you get inside.
Do you know like when it was initially built? I don't know if you
I want to
already said
say,
that.
I thought it was like, I want to say like 1400s. I want to say, but yeah,
cool.
my history on all this stuff is really iffy because there's just a lot.
Well, I
of
was just wondering if it was like 1800s, so 1400s.
No,
I feel like
definitely older than that. Like I said, rebuilt though. So, also this castle's been destroyed many times in Godzilla movies, so I was excited on that front. Where I was like,
gotcha.
I was like,
landmark
cool.
for the movie.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
cool.
I mean, when I came home, there's this one YouTube channel that plays Godzilla movies constantly 24/7. I'll turn it on once in a while to be like, oh, what one's playing today? And one of them was like as soon as we got home was Godzilla versus Anguirus, second movie all time, and they fight at Osaka Castle, and he actually kills Anguirus by throwing him over the castle and into the moat. So for me, I was like, oh, that's cool. But it's a lot of pretty wide though, like on the ground, as you can see in the second photo, like people are hanging out. But let's this our surrounding that is like downtown Osaka. But yeah, there's a line to get in. It was just like real hot. And I'm just like, oh, and not put sunscreen on. I was so worried about getting burned. I only got burned once. But we took a photo of it. I took a photo of this. We took this cute couple photo, but it's not as cute as this couple photo, where they had matching like stuffed animals of some sort, and they were taking photos together of it. But yeah, a lot of people taking photos. I couldn't really. There, a lot of the floors didn't have photos weren't allowed, but there was like miniatures of some battles and stuff that were really cool. Some armor and masks that were sick.
You should have brought your sketchbook and then very quickly.
I know. I wish that'd be such a cool freaking skill to have, man. God damn, that's
like a courtroom sketch person.
Yeah, just be able to do that in 10 minutes. But it was pretty busy even for a Monday. But I'm glad we went on a Monday because I can't imagine what it would be like on a Saturday, like peak time. And this is hopefully this works.
Oh,
this is when I did my first gashapon at the Osaka Castle. I'm getting a little samurai guy. I don't have him nearby, but he has a cool fucking crest. It's actually similar to some of the stuff we've seen in the Ghost of Yosai there, that the trailer or whatever.
Oh, Yotai.
Yeah, Yotai.
Or Yotai.
But yeah, I got my first gashapon there. Shout out to True Brewing, by the way.
Get it. You just like turn it, or
200 yen, like you put in.
200. Okay.
Which is like the equivalent of like maybe 75 cents. Like it's
ideally $2 in like there, you know what I mean? Ideally,
for them $2, but yeah, when you're American in a town year in yen, you're like, damn, I can get all these. Right. I mean, some were more expensive. There was ones that are going for huge. $5.
It's like
some were going for 10.
There.
Yeah,
those in like crane games. You can get like a vending machine will give you like a real lobster. Like they got all that.
Oh my god.
That's like a.
There's a lot of vending machines around, which is real clutch too. Because like there was this peach water I got obsessed with. And Hikaru Utada was on most of them because their new album came out a couple of months ago, and they were on a tour. And unfortunately, their tour ended like right when we got there. Otherwise, I would have totally gone to that. God, what the hell's going on?
Well, technical difficulties. It's okay. I just wanted. I asked earlier because I didn't know if like you were doing something that was causing that.
If I stop streaming, will it fuck up your shit too much, and then I restream? Because I can do desktop versus the actual program. Because I think that might be what it is.
Oh, that's what I thought you were doing. Yeah, do that, folks.
All right, hold on.
We're gonna take a second here. See Devon's big ass forehead.
See if this works.
Hey, I'm still perfect because it's not using Discord for my camera.
Yeah, what the
All right, I think you gotta click on it again, but
that means I gotta go here, go non-video participants because it asking me counts as a non-video participant. Gotta do that again. All right, we should be good. All right,
let's see if that works. Sorry, folks. So then we got to this one I know for sure because I wrote the date down. So this was in the afternoon.
I don't think
we
you're
got
full
some food.
Screen. Oh wait, no. Sorry, you're good. You're good. I can.
I think I see Devon. That's good. So then we went to the Shinteno-ji shrine, which is for a fact Japan's oldest shrine, built around 593 AD. Like that's crazy old. Not many things are even around. 3,000 for a lot of places, just because of time and wars and whatever. And I think some parts were rebuilt, but for the most part, this ground has been, intact. I went inside the shrine, and there's like, so it's kind of like a parts of it are like each part of it going up. There's little like markers, and I think it's kind of like a mausoleum, I guess, where you're going to see like your family name might be that little placard in there, but you can put money down on there. You bring drinks in there for Buddha and whatnot, and for your my understanding is, it's like unopened stuff. You literally buy it. They people place it there. Like people are dropping water and food for folks who have left. But so I thought that was really cool. We did a couple shrines. Bryn really wanted to do the shrines. Bryn had this book, like a stamp book, because a lot of these places had big stamps.
Oh.
So she was kind of collecting stamps. I think she got like 30 stamps in total.
What a
They had 'em at the-
nerd. So you
I
went
know.
to all the video game stuff then next, right?
Yes. And then I also learned, I saw people doing it, but I wasn't sure if I was supposed to do it. I was one of the tours we wound up doing. They said like, "Oh yeah, you can do it. Wouldn't find it disrespectful if you wanted to do it. If anything, it's encouraged." You know what I mean? It's like going to a church you don't normally go to and being like, "I'm gonna go pray," which is kind of weird to me.
Right.
Yeah.
So I didn't do any of that, but there is some shrines, and I wound up doing some of the shrines that I thought were cool. And after I feel like I got a permission, because I'm like, is it, or is it a generational thing? I asked our one tour guide that we wound up doing, and she's like, no, like if anything, we find it like super respectful that if you like do our customs, you know what I'm saying? So, because I'm like, I don't think I would fly like just going to a random church and doing this. It'd be like, or like no one would care, but it'd just be weird. Like, it'd be like, why? Like we
this
know you're
person's
not
showing off or something.
Yeah, but yeah,
Right,
so everyone
yeah.
was doing it.
the heck?
What is going?
It was just told me like watch the stream.
Same
Like
for
I already
me.
was.
Oh,
Same for me.
sorry,
Whatever.
folks. But yeah, usually at the entrance of these, you bow going in, and then you bow when you leave. But you turn around and bow because it's like you're entering almost like the the home of the either a Shinto god or Buddha. So I learned a lot more about religion here than I was expecting, because I don't really know too much about Japanese religion, but the main two are Buddhism and then Shintoism. Shintoism is kind of more of a older one, where it's the idea of kind of like having a mutual respect for nature. So I found that kind of interesting. I feel like I have some connection
It's
with that. But
kind of
it's
like
also
a paganism that hasn't been stamped out by Catholicism, if that was
Yeah.
to happen here.
But a lot of the imperial like emperors and whatnot are usually Shintoists. So a lot of the places were built by emperors who practice Shintoism. So there is like that part of it where like, I think one of the reasons it wasn't stamped out was because it was so much tied to emperors and authority. And Buddhism was a thing that came from China and whatnot. So, but those are your two main religions. And you have shrines are big like this, but there's some small shrines that'll be in the middle of like in between two apartment complexes. You know what I mean? It'd be like the funny thing. Like you'll
That's
just be like
convenient
walking.
for the people that live there, I guess.
Yeah, you just have one right there. So, but that's how Japan is, right? So condensed, and things are just kind of built on top of each other,
Right.
and it just works. But yeah, 593.80. Dude, what is going on? There we go. More photos, better photos than the ones I took.
Is that
And then
gravel?
there's these.
That the
Yeah,
big
it's like
courtyard is?
kind of gravelly sand that someone clearly rakes. And I always want to know, where do you start?
Have you mowed a
'Cause if you
lawn
fuck
before?
up, if you fuck up though, you got to somehow go all the way back and do it all over again. So I'm like, I was low key kind of stressed, like looking at that. I was like,
do you
man,
walk over that?
No, you can't walk over that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, you can.
I would feel so bad.
No, yeah, I don't know how often they do. I didn't see anyone there, but
okay.
But yeah, they have these pathways that go around it.
I see.
On the right here is most of it's in Japanese, but there's some in other languages of people writing little. Basically, you pay like 500 yen, and you get a little placard that you hang up here, and you write a message of something you want. It's just like praying,
PS5.
basically. PS5. But a lot of people are writing like good fortune, or like a lot of it too. I saw a lot of them about like tests and stuff. Like, hey, I want to make sure I pass this test. So I think a lot of students will do this for finals, is my understanding. So that's pretty cool, because there's so different ones, different shrines. Also, they say have certain better chances of things happening. So one's like, oh, relationships. One is prosperity. One is luck. Those kind of things. So
Great.
I thought that's
Gotta
pretty
collect
cool.
them all.
One of them is like specifically tied to like business and mercantilism, like just
this
super
is the
specific.
capitalism shrine.
Yeah. So, but yeah, then there's some other ones that are more just just for whatever. Then I just had to make a special shout out to Shohei Ohtani. Our baseball god currently. People don't understand how great Shohei Ohtani is. For people who don't watch baseball, he's our modern day Babe Ruth. He can pitch, he can bat. He just hit 50 home runs and got 50 steals in a season that's never been even close to done before. But I knew going in, I'm like, he's probably going to be at some places, but dude was everywhere. He already got a $700 million contract from the Dodgers this offseason. And that's not including his first contract, which I'm sure was like, I think 100 or 200 million. So he's going to be a billionaire 100%, but he's also probably getting mad deals here in Japan, where his face was everywhere. Every convenience store, every vending machine, he's somewhere on there selling you water. But
was he born in Japan?
Yeah, he's from Japan. He played what team did he play for? I want to say was it the Hansen Tigers? I don't remember. Maybe not. Do you know this if you're in chat still?
Do you think, is there like a big like he gotta be playing here? Like, he's fucking Japanese. Why is he playing over there?
I think a lot of people see MLB as like, this is the pinnacle of competition. Like, going to MLB means you're really, really good. He was like destroying the Japan league, and I think it was only a matter of time before he signed, because he signed with the Angels originally.
Right.
And that happens sometimes. It happens a lot actually with like Korea too as well. The KBO. I remember back in like 2014, the Orioles signed Hyun-Soo Kim from the KBO, and he was considered like the hit machine. That was his nickname, was the hit machine, because he just always got singles and doubles, and he just
killed
got on base. Like they come here, and that's why a lot of them go to like California teams though, because of the time zone. They want their fans to be able to attention and watch. It's hard when they're on the East Coast. So those big markets in California always stealing all the great Japanese players, unfortunately. But yeah, Ohtani is everywhere, and I forgot I was going through my photos. I'm like, I'm making a Shohei Ohtani slide. But yeah, shout out to him. Number one.
Speaking about time zones, I didn't ask this when you flew. Did you go forwards or backwards in time? Did you stall in time, or did you speed up?
We went forward going there, and then backwards coming back. So we left on that Saturday, we got like it was already the start of Sunday while we started going in the air. Then we got there at 4 p.m. or whatever their time, but for us here it was Monday. So yeah, sorry. Is it backwards? Forwards? No, yeah.
I think you got it right.
Yeah, forwards. And then so on the way back, we left Japan Sunday at 4 p.m. their time.
Mm-hmm.
On Sunday at 4 p.m. their time. We got back here in Denver at Sunday at 6 p.m.
You're kind of like stalling in the air.
So only 2 hours went by in our travel back, which is
That's
weird.
insane.
So
it'll help you sleep.
I didn't sleep well on the way back, unfortunately. I think I was back. I got adjusted to the Japan time zone real quick. It took me 2 days because I was like getting really tired at like 7, 8 p.m. But I was like, oh, this is a lot better than Europe, because in Europe, I've gotten there at like 9 a.m. I didn't sleep well. Now I got to stay up 15 hours.
Yeah, all day.
Or else I'm going to be screwed for the rest of this trip. So Japan was a lot easier, surprisingly. So that night, though, we went to Dotonbori, which you might have seen a lot in movies and whatnot. It's a really famous spot. It's kind of like what I think Japan, what a lot of people think Japan looks like in terms of the metropolitan areas. There's signs everywhere, neon signs. There's just a lot of tourists and food and little food markets. But this is on the way there because our hotel was in walking distance to it. So it was nice. I didn't have to take a train or anything. It's like a 15-minute walk. But we went through they have all these little like outlet malls that are just these long streets of just infinite stuff. Some of it was repeat stuff, but a lot of clothes, both American. You can see La Costa is back there, but then we'll have some Japanese stuff, but a lot of like foreign stuff in these areas, except for like the food, and then some of the gashapon stores and arcade places. Oh, what the hell?
What the heck?
It's just like that Putin video.
Is it like a lot? It's like one of the live photos, maybe?
Let me go back, maybe. No, it's a video.
Oh, it is.
Well, this
It
is gonna
just-
suck for the rest of
well-
this if it's gonna look that. Well, pretend, tilt your head in view.
Okay. That's
Fucking
funny.
PowerPoint, man. Here's more photos. I took a picture of this just for Ethan. The Pokestop
Pokestop.
vending machine that was it's
Oh
Pokestop
my God.
and a vending machine. Wow.
right.
But you can see that like the river comes in and like some people were like on the boats and stuff. But this
That's
is
cool.
all food. This is where it was really tough because most stuff wasn't in English. So you're using Google Translate. Google Translate's a lot better than it used to be, where you can in real time scan it and it will translate
Yeah,
everything
just
for
translate.
you.
That's
But I
pretty
did,
amazing.
since I did do some kanji and whatever through Duolingo, I did know some letters, but that's about it. Nothing to where I could like translate, because even if you do translate
Yeah.
it, it's just a phonetic spelling most of the time. So it's
Gotcha.
like, okay, well, I don't know what that word
Yeah,
means.
then you have to know the
Yeah.
word.
Outside of
Yeah.
like soba, like those kind of things, I was like, oh, that's soba. I know what that is now. But yeah, really, really cool. The photos really don't do it justice, like how far this goes, and there's a Ferris wheel right there on the left. On that
Oh
that
wow,
left
I
photo.
didn't know this.
Let's see, do I have a picture of the crab? Yeah, there's a giant crab thing because they
Oh,
serve
so you went
crab
back
there.
to Baltimore.
Yeah, I went back to Baltimore. So then I had I think this was Kobe beef on the left, which, famous. There's also Wagyu, but I had that in I believe Tokyo. But this was what did I say? Kobe beef on a stick. I didn't get the most expensive one.
I was
So I'm
gonna say
like,
it was like $50 for that stick.
no, for that was like 1,500, so it wasn't anything. Sorry, or 1,500.
Maybe just thinking about when they import that stuff here. That stuff is always just stupidly expensive.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there was like they were doing it right off the grill and stuff. And then Bryn I forgot the name of it, but basically, I mean, it wasn't described like this. It just was like, yeah, they're pastry balls with some seasonings and stuff on it. She got it, and then she didn't realize it's actually octopus balls. So inside there's octopus chunks in it.
Oh my
But it's like a deep fried kind of
ball.
like puff ball, yeah, with just
Mm.
some sauces
And
and
it
stuff
is
on it.
pastry.
It's like
So
a
it's
pastry,
like a bread or like a noodle.
like a bread. Yeah, like a bread.
Okay.
But Bryn was eating it and she's like, oh, she didn't like, she likes octopus, so she wasn't like
Okay.
upset or anything. I wound up trying it and I didn't dislike it. I don't think it's something I'd get though.
Yeah.
You'd prefer real testicles from an octopus, I see.
Yes. But yeah, it was just like the arm of like an octopus. So it had like the suction cups on it. So I had to just not think
I
about
wouldn't
it.
like
Crunchy.
that. I wouldn't like the
Yeah.
suction.
But
cups.
honestly, it tasted kind of like,
It's like
I don't know how
seeing
to describe
hair
it.
on an arm of an animal you're
Ah.
eating.
No, I mean like
That's
the
not
texture
the
wasn't.
same.
The texture actually wasn't because I think they cook it. You know what I mean? To where I was expecting it to be really gooey and chewy, and it really wasn't. It kind of honestly was the same consistency as the steak was, but the flavor was different. I don't know how I would describe it. Not like chicken, but it definitely was like a meat taste. It wasn't a fishy taste or anything. There's points where we had fish and chips because I was just really curious. I don't typically like fish and chips, but there it actually was like really fucking good. And I'm like, man, if they had this here, there's no way they could have this here because it's not fresh. We have no fucking body of water really in Colorado. It's just a lot better there. But yeah, the Kobe beef was good. I think I like the Wagyu more though when I had it in the form of sushi.
Oh, in the form of sushi. Interesting.
Yeah.
So you have a picture of that coming up?
Yeah, it's gonna be in Japan.
Slide 389.
Or Tokyo. Yeah. So this is the day 4. This is to me what the goal of this trip was at the like when I wanted to go to this since I heard about it since 2017 is when this came out. Well, not this amusement park that we're going to, but the specific thing at this amusement park. The Naijigen no Mori is the name of the park, and to get there was a real pain in the ass. We had to take one train to get to Osaka Station, then that train to get to this station that was on the side of so the station parked below this bridge, and then you can see here in this photo, it goes to what is Awaji Island. And it's, to me, it looks like the Golden Gate Bridge. Like, I've been to Golden Gate Bridge. It's like about that tall, and maybe definitely longer. It's all white. But yeah, cars are driving back and forth. And we were at this bus stop, and shout out to this old guy who I think his job to just hang out there and tell people what buses to get on. And we're like, yeah, we're going to Nijanga no Mori. And he's like, okay. And then there's one point a bus came up with the branding on it, because there's a Dragon Quest Island thing on there.
Isn't that
and we
like
thought that was
amusement thing for Dragon Quest
Yeah.
or something?
So at this amusement park, there's different like things there, like different. So there's like a Dragon Quest section. They just opened up a Monster Hunter section. That's like a VR kind of thing. I didn't have time for it, but there's that. There's a Naruto section where his like they have like a Mount Rushmore
Everyone
of
has
Naruto.
to run like that.
Yeah. And then there's one we're getting to where you'll know why we went here.
Shaking my head already.
Japan Missouri. But yeah, I thought this was the bus, and I took a photo of it because I was like, it's going there. And he's like, no, it's not though. And I'm like, and the one we wound up going on did have similar branding. But is this a video of us going on the bridge? Hopefully this doesn't change, dude. Sorry. Well,
Okay, this is a nice view.
Squished though.
I'm so fucking pissed, dude. I had to rotate all of these. They made me rotate all of them. So I might have not have. I should have just left it. God damn it. But yeah, we got on this bus, and at this point it's been like an hour and a half of travel. Because this is near Kobe. So Kobe's north, and then on this bridge you go south down to Awaji Island, and Osaka's to the right of that, but you have to go around the bend. So we took a train that goes across, and then from there down. So it's like, I don't know how many miles it was, but it wasn't around the corner. So we got up pretty early to get there. Dude, I'm not trying to play that. I'm trying to go to the next one. Because where we're going to is the National Awaji Island Institute of Godzilla Disaster, folks.
Oh my God.
Nigod. I just had to go here. When I heard this was happening, this is when after Shin Gojira came out, which is 2016. First Godzilla film in 12 years at that point from Toho's end, Japan's end, not the new ones we've been seeing in American theaters with legendary pictures. None of those. This is like Japan's Godzilla. And they opened this up back around then as part of their initiative to Hideki Anno, who's the director, one of the directors of Shin Gojira. He made all the Evangelion movies, but he did Shin Gojira, he did Shin Kamen Rider, Shin Ultraman. Am I missing one?
Shin meaning new.
Meaning new, but that's what their titles are. And then he did the new Evangelion movies, and he put them all together as an initiative to help bring Japan tourism and also celebrate Japan's heroes, as he called it. So like there was back in like the 2017, 2018, a lot of these things kind of opened up celebrating Ultraman, Kamen Rider, Godzilla, and Evangelion as kind of like, hey, these are like things that we should be, that we're proud of, but we don't market enough. Like we don't push, tell people about it. So there's been a lot of these things opening, and this actually has the first Godzilla museum, which is crazy to think. Godzilla is 70 years old at this point, and it hasn't been like a permanent museum. So the last, and even and in the last couple of years, even America now, I've seen way more Godzilla stuff at the store that I've ever seen as a kid. As a kid, I had to go to Toys R Us, and they had the same 3 figures. Maybe they rotate them every couple of years, but it was the same stuff, unless you went to like a thrift store where you got an imported thing, right? But like nothing in America. But I just feel like in the last couple of years, Toho has been taking all the partnerships, really like pushing Godzilla, not just in Japan more, but just outwardly. And this is part of that initiative. But yeah, this is a whole thing. So basically at this amusement park, it's free to get in, and it's literally a park. Like think of it as like an actual park. It's an open air space where it's like a lot of just lawns and stuff where you could picnic. We went on a Tuesday.
Godzilla steps on you.
Godzilla steps on you, but like right when you get in, there's like the info desk. There's a map of all the places, but it's all really spread out. Like we had to take a shuttle to a thing after this. to get to one of the other things. But the Dragon Quest thing was right there, and it's like a big castle that I guess you go in, but a lot of it's made for families. So a lot of it's like there's some parts where it's like this is clearly for kids. Like there was one part for this Godzilla thing they gave us that was like a Godzilla crossword trivia thing for kids to figure out. There's one where you have to scan. You use like AR to scan different kaiju around the area, and then you win a prize. We didn't do any of that, but still a lot of the stuff was for kids in that part of it. But then there were some things for adults, which I would say part of it is this. So I think they do a good job of like getting a little bit of everything. But yeah, it's an open park, and you pay for each like if you want to go do the Godzilla like section, you pay $20 or whatever it is. I think it's a little bit more pricey if you go day of. But yeah, you do this. You basically go to each one, and you can pay however you want. So you can plan your day however, or you can just hang out in the park and eat at the restaurant. And the restaurant has themed stuff. I don't think I put a photo in it, but I got a Mothra freaking dish where like they make
Godzilla meat.
Yeah, Godzilla meat. But like they have different like things you can do, like buy there that are. You can get like a what you call it, a coaster or whatever. You get like a coaster of the whatever, like you can get Naruto if you order a Naruto meal or whatever. But it's the real main attraction.
This is where he eats you.
This is where he eats you. As you could, it's hard to see, but there's a zip line that goes.
Oh my
into his
god!
Mouth.
Oh my
yeah. And this is big, and I try to take a photo of people. I try to take a photo of people like
for scale.
For scale, because the photos really don't do it justice. In person, I was like, dude, a 7-year-old me would be losing his shit right now. Like this was so cool. And you can see there's a little walkway here. But yeah, basically the Godzilla operation, it has 3 sections. The first section is you getting your training, and they have a video. Well, first when we got there, it was 2 women, all wearing their Godzilla uniforms, like they're wearing like their military uniforms, but they had a backpack, which I got. I should go grab it maybe. I don't know where. I think it's in the other room. I got a Godzilla backpack because I got the special package where it's literally Godzilla as your whole back.
Oh my!
And it has all these little pockets in it. And they were like, I was scanning that they scanned my ticket. And they're like, and they said, something of like, oh, he got the backpack, and they got so excited to give me the backpack, and they were just But I remember we were having internet issues, and like the classic thing we all do when like, dude, the fucking internet, it's taking forever to do it, and they started doing it, like they were doing it too, and I was like, wow, that's a universal sign of wow, my internet is really slow right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they were all super nice and like funny. Really into it. I get that's part of their job, but it's just different when you see, even up to this point, Japanese people are very like relaxed, kind of not low energy, but just very like reserved, right? Typically. So when you go to these kind of things where, this is part of the job, right, is to like, they do the enthusiastic, very expressive. It just makes it way more exciting. And I know like in Disney, right, we go to Disney, Universal, like you kind of have similar stuff when you have the mascots, maybe you have Spider-Man, and like,
sure,
they're so enthusiastic, but like, it's just a different level, I think, because you're so used to at this, probably for them too, where you go from your day to day where it's kind of, like you said, reserved. You don't get too excited over things or whatever. So when you go to these things, it does feel more like an experience. And that's really all they're like, this kind of stuff's about. It's about the experience, right? So they really like, I think, go full into it. The people that they, hire are like, they will bring the energy. So yeah, they were so excited. They're like, yeah, thank you for coming. Arigato gozaimasu. And they talk about, oh, where are you from? From Denver, Colorado. They don't know where that is, which is always surprising. I mean, it makes sense, but some always like California, but a little bit east. And they're like, okay. Or I'll show them literally on Google Maps. They're like, oh, I'm like, yeah, Rocky Mountain. They know what some of them know what Rocky Mountains were. Or if I said John Denver, they're like, oh, John Denver. Like, they know John Denver from like Country Roads
the
and
song,
stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's funny.
But yeah, you zip line his mouth. But what you start is you watch this movie, and there's like lore I thought they were just gonna be like, yeah, it's a cool Godzilla thing, have fun. It was way more than that, which just made it better. The whole video was like, yeah, basically Godzilla like was coming to Osaka, and he was going to destroy everything. Like, it's really bad. So we created this division, which is Nigod, which is what the whole thing is based off of. We created this division to basically we can't kill Godzilla, but we can trap him. So they made a whole short movie of how he got here. He's supposed to be real. Like, that's the whole lore behind it. Like, this is really, he is real, of course. But yeah, basically what they did was they lured him onto this island, and then like they collapsed the ground below him, and then they used a certain like this is based off a little bit how 2016 movie went. They basically froze him in place, and that's why you have to zip line through, because you have to make sure do a security check to make sure he's not slowly becoming unfrozen. And then after you zip line, there's a little shooting range where you have like P90s, David. Like, basically that's what they look like, fucking P90.
Nice.
And you're shooting any of the spots that are glowing, because that's his spores trying to like grow off of him, and he's trying to like spread.
Oh my god!
So you have to shoot him.
Cool.
And I did really bad at it because I didn't realize I had a duck when the alarm was going off, so I kept losing all my points. I had like 500 points. Bryn had like, I don't know how Bryn was, I guess should have been a soldier or something, because she had a lot of points. I was like, damn,
wow,
she got that aim.
Well, she was in
you did that.
Storm, so that makes sense.
Yeah. But you do that, and then that's where those people are hanging out. The only thing we should have did, where there's some language confusion here. We didn't know that you could bring your phone like in the carry-on, and you could have recorded going down the zip line. I thought they said no phones. So we didn't get any of us actually going down it.
Boo.
So after that, we did they made me do They made me do this once again, designed for kids, but they're like, I don't care. Like, we adults are allowed to do this.
Yeah.
Where I had to do these mini games. If I got a certain amount of points, I could get a prize. And unfortunately I got no points.
Really?
Wow.
And I'm like, wow, I've done archery. This should be no problem. Because it was like 20, not even 20 feet. It was like 15 feet maybe. But that bow and arrow was garbage, dude. It was designed like, I was like, so I did the first test shot.
Tool.
I did the first test shot, and I was like, okay, it's too low. I got to aim a little higher. And then that one just went far right somehow. And I'm like, I did. The next one I had like a fan, and I had to like throw it at Godzilla. But I was like, I could reach this, so I don't want to cheat. So I did try to throw it. I didn't hit him. I should have cheated.
What do you think would have happened if you just reached over and knocked him over with it?
That's what I was supposed to do. But I was supposed to throw it, she said. So I was like, okay.
Do you throw like air at him?
No, you throw the fan. You throw the fan
Okay.
at the Godzilla dude there, and I failed that. But anyways, we went to the Godzilla Museum, which was, I don't know, probably one of my favorite things on this trip, because like, I don't know, I grew up watching this stuff, and like seeing the actual suits that they use for these movies was, I don't know, just a crazy feeling to be like, wow, like I did it. Like, I can't, like, as a kid, I've always wanted to be like, if there's a museum or something, I want to go do that. But yeah, this is one of my favorite Godzilla movies, Godzilla Tokyo SOS, freaking Kiryu, Mechagodzilla there. He's fucking baller. Best design, in my opinion. We have one of the best Godzilla designs as well. I got Mothra as well. And yeah, it was really cool to see them. There's a Shin Gojira like statue there. They used CGI for that movie, but had to do it. And then 1954, the OG Godzilla, one of the best designs of all time. We took a nice selfie with him because he's just so nice.
His eyes are a little bit.
Well, that's on purpose. He's supposed to. Most of his design and his original design was based off of kind of like how Japan sees dragons and stuff. So if you look at old dragons,
that's what it looked.
But that's why I think he looks scary, because his eyes do look a little fucking juiced out a little bit. So.
Yeah, he's seen some shit. All right.
Yeah, he got nuked, and he's like, "Fuck, dude, I'm gonna go destroy whoever did this." Never mind, I'm gonna go to Japan. But yeah, do that. What is this? I don't remember.
This is gonna be upside down and.
Oh. So after this was the next experience. was you went on a set and you filmed a movie, and this
Oh
is
my god.
and this
This is your
girl.
movie.
Yeah, this was our movie they made. It's a little cheesy, but I don't give a fuck because it was fun. And
Yeah.
she kept saying like, eat she kept saying like, look at King Ghidorah, and it was King Ghidorah was like above the camera. She like kept pointing at it, and she's like, okay, you gotta fight him, you gotta fight Godzilla, but just don't hit him actually, because it's a real suit, so don't hit it.
Yeah.
This is the suit from Godzilla Final Wars, but
Oh my god.
they did a photo and did a video for it. There's another photo we took too where she gave me like a Toho Studios director's hat and whatnot, and she really
Nice.
loved my shirt. She's like, oh, you got a Godzilla shirt on. Oh my. She's like, so kawaii. She's like, have you always liked Godzilla? I'm like, yeah, since a kid. She's like, oh, that's so awesome. Like, she was like so happy that like
Yeah.
I came all this way.
Yeah.
But yeah, here's the thing.
My God.
Oh my What do these things mean?
One of them said Godzilla. I don't.
Oh, okay.
There's us. And Bryn's like outfit got blurred out. I don't know why. I guess we
Oh
die.
my
So.
Oh
But
my-
yeah, it was a fun little
That's funny.
fun little thing. We
That's
took a photo,
amazing.
but yeah, I don't know why
Oh
her
my-
like
oh,
denim got
green screen.
blurred out. But it made it
The back
funnier
is
for
blue,
me.
I guess. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is the photo I took. I had the director's hat on. She had Chibi
Amazing.
Godzilla, which is like kid Godzilla. So like they have a YouTube thing for that for kids. But had a megaphone. But yeah, actual. This is the thing that we're in, so it was kind of fun.
Nice.
Amazing.
There's the bridge I was talking about, Tawaji Island.
Yeah, yeah.
Then they had more suits, and they have rotating
my
things
God.
here. So they had Space Godzilla just for this month only while we were there.
What
So
is that rock tumor growing out of him?
oh, these are just like icicles. He's from space,
Oh,
dude.
jeez.
So it's Godzilla from space. Yeah. What a concept.
Jeez.
Then we have Mogera here, which I didn't know he was mostly like just foam. As a kid, I thought he was some sort of plastic, and he's more of a foam. But he fights
Interesting.
Space Godzilla at one point and helped Godzilla win. And then we went to another big thing here, Spy Family, which is a really big anime in Japan. We've watched it before going to Japan because my barber he's a big anime guy, and I was like, hey, what's some animes you recommend? And he's like, I need something because Bryn's a little picky on it. Like I'll like mechs and fucking deep level anime, but not like what's something that's good, feel good, easy to watch. And he's like, oh, check out Spy Family. It's really cute. And it is really cute. Really love this show, and Bryn's obsessed with it now. She went from a skeptic to a believer. And they had coincidentally at this park, they also have rotating things, and one of the things from I think March till October, so we got there at the right time.
Okay.
Was a Spy Family maze, where you come here and you are basically Spy Family's about. I'm not gonna do the whole thing, but basically it's just like a main guy here on the right is a spy. She's an assassin. She's telepathic, and then he's clairvoyant. But they all don't know that about each other. And it's like a fun thing about it.
Dynamic.
Only she knows everything about them because she's telepathic. So she's like, oh, I know he's a spy. I know she's an assassin, but she won't tell them because she doesn't want to break up the family. But part of his organization is like, they're training new spies, and that's what the maze is about. Is you have to do spy training through the maze. And each section of the maze, there's like, okay, you got to find these objects, and it's like you used to get an iPad and you scan it, and then you get a code to unlock the next gate to get to the next thing. It was very much like a stealth game, very Metal Gear in the sense of you got to find all these things, because after the first one, it was just kind of showing you the ropes, like, hey, you got to find these things, and you have a certain time limit, but it's like 10 minutes, plenty of time, because it wasn't that big. But the next two had guards that were walking around trying to catch you.
Oh, wow.
And if they do catch you, you lose time or points or whatever. But you had to go find like specific objects in a certain order, and they were hidden in each end of the maze. So you had to go through and be like, okay, I need to find the car or whatever, and I scanned the car, but they're all in different spots. And it was me and Bryn, and then another couple who were there, kind of in the same area, and they were able to get ahead of us because they knew Japanese, I think, so that helps. Because some of the stuff wasn't translated. But yeah, there's a guard walking around, and it was very video gamey in the sense of like yes, they could hear us and see us if they just turned their head, but they like had a very narrow
Right. They had a vision
cone of vision.
Yeah.
But it was a real person walking around
Okay, yeah.
in the security outfit, walking
That's
around,
funny.
and I realized they were specific route, so you had to like know when to when to walk and whatnot. And at one point, I kid you not, I thought I tore my ACL. I thought for sure.
Because you
I
like
was like,
quick
I went too
turn
hard in
or
the paint.
something.
I went too well. What happened was
that's classic Devon.
God.
I went too hard in the paint. Classic gym class hero energy. It just comes out of
my
me.
God.
I can't stop it. But at one point, we were scanning. I had to go scan something, and I remembered where it was because at the beginning of the maze or of this area, I'm like, okay, I got to go back. But when I'm going back, I didn't realize. I thought the guard was further down, and they were kind of like right there. And some of the hedge mazes, it's all a hedge maze, I should have said. Some are different like heights. So some are where I could stand behind it, no problem. And other ones are like crouched down. You probably got to like not crawl, but like you got to crouch a little bit to get under.
Yeah.
And I saw this person at the last second. I'm like, oh no, I don't want to get caught. And I did like a sprinting crouch towards the other end of the path.
Gotcha.
And as I was crouching and running at the same time, I'm not how I used to be. And I felt my right knee kind of buckle as I was coming down, and I stopped. And I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna get up because it's not hurt. Like I was waiting for it to be like this immense pain because I really felt it lock up. And I'm like, well, I gotta scan this thing too. So I was like scanning it, and I'm like, I gotta push through. I scanned it, and I was like waiting as I got up to like I was waiting for like a pop or something. That's how an ACL usually goes. It's like, oh, you hear it, and then nothing, but it was really sore. And I powered through and we finished it. But I told Bryn, I'm like, Bryn, I really thought I'm like, our trip is about to do a turn because I'm gonna be in the hospital for the next. I'm not coming home. I'm gonna be stuck in Japan for a month rehabbing. But yeah, my knee locked up. But it was really cute and really fun. And I got S tier on 2 out of the things, and I got C on one of them.
Very good.
They said I was very attentive. Like I'm very good at knowing my details. And I'm like, good. I think I agree.
Yeah. I agree.
I
Is that what you said when they were like, you're very attentive? You're like, I agree.
I agree. But yeah, they have a little thing here and a little food truck as well. And then since we were on our way back, we're like, let's go to an Oryx Buffaloes game. The Oryx Buffaloes are like I said, Japanese baseball team earlier. I was talking about the different teams. Cool. They switch between playing at this stadium, which is their outdoor stadium in Kobe, and then downtown Osaka in a dome. And coincidentally, they were playing this night at the outdoor stadium, which is a little bit smaller. But we were able to get tickets, and how we had to get tickets, we had to talk because I couldn't find them online, or I did try to find them online, but I needed to make an account with a Japanese address that I didn't have. So I couldn't buy the tickets. So we talked to the front desk the night before. And this one, our front desk at the hotel, helped us. And basically, they're just like, yeah, so you can order it, and then you got to go to 7-Eleven to pick them up. I'm like, what? So yeah, I went to a 7-Eleven and got my baseball tickets.
Just like behind the counter?
Yeah, like I showed them the email confirmation. I had a code on it, and then they're like, yeah.
And they mailed it to them, or I guess emailed, and they printed it out. They just
print it?
They print it there. I don't know, but that could go to any 7-Eleven. They said so. Some sort of service they do.
I think 7-Elevens there are more like how you see like a one of the giant WalMarts here, and that they have all these weird services, but obviously scaled way down to fit a corner store.
But yeah, and a former Oriole played for this team back in the day, Adam Jones. So I saw some Adam Jones jerseys. It was kind of surreal. But yeah, they gave everyone fans, which is cool. I sent one to my brother because it had like different food on it. Because I think the Hatomoto is the name of the field, and that's like a food distributor. So I think they were giving out, and then Taiwan Fresh Always was another like food company. So they had fans that just had those logos on. I sent to my brother because I'm like, he's a foodie. He'll like photos of dumplings and noodles. Yeah, stadium's pretty cool. Very wide, but really isn't that much. It isn't bigger than MLB ballpark. It just felt that way, I think, just because of how wide it is. But what makes Japanese baseball different than American baseball is there's constant chanting and songs when your team is batting or pitching, and there's an opposing team fans are allowed to sit in one section of the park, and then the home team fans are allowed to sit in the other. And you're only allowed doing songs when your pitcher is pitching. I don't know if it's supposed to distract the batter, I guess, but they have songs, and they were going all game. And the game took forever. It was like almost 4 hours compared to regular MLB baseball now, where they have the new rules where there's a pitch clock. There's no pitch clock. The guys be taking their sweet time to throw the next pitch. But it was still really fun. And it wasn't that expensive to sit right here. God damn it.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
And they have all these different songs. I think they changed them up for some innings. And when they wind up winning, we had a good night, and I was really tired. I almost did fall asleep at the ballpark because I'm just so tired from a long day.
Right.
I didn't even mention though, to get there though, this is where I'm talking about Japanese people being really helpful. We were trying to figure out how to get back to that main bus station, so then we can go to the ballpark. Back at the bridge, at the start of the bridge, we need to get back there. And Google Maps was saying, "Yeah, brother, you have like 5 hours till that next bus comes, or you can walk 45 minutes down to this next bus station and take that one. That one will get you there." And I'm like, might be stuck here. I don't know. Should we take an Uber? And we were like looking at the map, and I'm trying to translate it because none of it's in English. And this old guy comes up. He's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "Oh, we're trying to get to this station on the edge of the bridge." Oh, and he's like, "Okay." And he starts looking at the thing. And like, I'm like, I think he's confused about the schedule, which is to me how I always get confused with bus schedules, even in English. So it didn't help. That was also in Japanese, but he's trying to figure out. And then he's like, "Oh, over there." And then he points at this other couple. And he's like, "They're going to where you're going," or whatever. I'm like, "Okay." And he kind of like brings them over, and then we start talking to them over Google Translate back and forth. And I'm like, "Yeah, we're trying to go here." He's like, "Yeah, we're going there too. So just follow us." And then we almost get on this one bus, and then the old guy's like, "No, not that one." And we're like, "Okay." And then we talk to the bus driver. He's like, "Yeah, don't go on this one. You're going to go the opposite direction." I think is what he said.
So
and they
didn't follow the couple, or
well, the couple didn't go on it either. The couple didn't go on it either, and they're like, because they were getting confused, which I was like, made me feel better. I'm like, okay, even the people who are from here, don't know anything.
It's a little bit confusing.
But then he said to me, he's like, "This is our first time here. I'm working good translate." He's like, "Sorry," and I'm like, I just wrote back to him, "It's an adventure," and he like thought that was really funny. But eventually, we got on this bus. And then we're on this bus I thought this bus was going to take us to the bus stop. No, this bus was dropping us off at that one bus stop. Then that was going to take us to this bus stop. But we didn't know how to.
You had a layover bus.
You had a layover bus. And the bus dropped us off on the side of this highway. And there's like this big bridge. Like you can walk up to this big walking bridge to the other side of the street. And then I'm like, okay, where's this next bus station? Like we're on the opposite side of the road. Like we need to get on. And I looked at Google Maps, and like we're still not where the bus station is, and we couldn't figure it out. And then the other couple couldn't figure it out. Though his girlfriend like ran up the stairs and was like going back and forth trying to figure out where the next bus station was. And then I kid you not, a car pulls over on the opposite side of the street, or this highway here. It's like there was a break, but still close enough where you could, see people. And the car pulled over, and it's the old guy from before.
I came to make sure you got
He had this little orange car. He comes out of the car and he just points down this he just points.
You sure this is a
Oh
real
my-
person, not like some spirit guide?
I don't
Like a
know. I
fox
don't know.
or
Yeah, I know.
something?
That's wild.
He just points, and it's like this little. You could see around a bend. There's like a little tunnel, like a little. Like you could
Oh
walk through a
my-
bike, or people can bike through. And he just points, and then he yells something, and then our couple here they start being like, "I got to go Zayma," and they're just like constantly like
Oh my god.
bowing, and then we started doing it too. We're like, "Thank you," I guess, I don't know, and then we just started following them, and we go down this bike path, and eventually we take the right route to get to the other bus stop, and then we get to the correct bus station, and the couple asks like, "Are you good from here?" And we're like, "Yeah, we're good. We know where we're going now." But shout out to that old guy and this couple for being really cool about it.
So-
It was just the craziest. How is this old guy up here again? And just like
This
did he
isn't
follow
his,
the
Well,
like,
you went to the
job or
shrine the
anything,
day
right? This was,
beforehand,
like-
right?
What's that?
You went to the shrine the day
wasn't-
before? Oh, sorry. You go on, David.
This is not like this old guy's
No, it was
job,
a random
right?
dude. It
Just
was
a random guy. That's
yeah,
crazy.
and I'm like,
Yeah,
shout out
you,
to that
you
old guy,
prayed
'cause
for
he drove
help and
off.
at the shrine, and he
Oh.
was there the next day.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
Wow.
that's just one instance of someone going out of their way to help. But like the old guy must have drove and followed the bus because he was on the opposite side though, so he came a different way to
Right.
get there, and he pulled over just to be like, "Go there, go there." It's just like, what the hell?
Oh my
But
god.
but yeah, next day. Sorry, I'll try to speed through this a little quicker. But a lot of the crazy stuff I feel like was the first couple days. Next thing we went to, we got on the Shinkansen, which is, I know David, you're a big fan of trains like I am. One of the fastest trains in the world. From Osaka to
my dude.
Hiroshima. Big train guy. Uh,
David
one of
is
the fastest trains in the
anti-public
world.
transportation.
I mean, that is cool, but
But it goes basically 175, I think, at one point
Wow.
mile per hour. Like it flies. Only has 4 stops. It's about
Wow.
300 miles, I think, was the distance, and it got there in 2 hours.
wow.
So really fast. Like I said, 3 stops, but you pay a little extra, but it is worth it. But our main goal to go to Hiroshima, because I want to go to the Hiroshima Peace Museum, which is the museum they put up, I think, in the 60s to talk about the atomic bomb that was dropped there, and also to promote peace and to never have nukes be used again. But that was our main goal of going there. But yeah, the train was really cool. Yeah, here's a video. If it was normal, it'd be cooler, but you can just see how fast it's going. Also, you
Yeah.
can see how dense Japan is. This is just off the coast here.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Is that like supposed to be a suburbs area?
Yeah, this is like outside of,
And it's still
probably
like very
in between
dense.
between Osaka and Kobe. There was some rural areas where it was just like rice fields and then little houses, but that was more closer to the mountains. So you see a little bit of that. But yeah, no photos were allowed in the museum itself. Not that I think I'd want to show some of the stuff that was shared in this, but a lot of testimonies. I've already had my opinion about the use of nukes, but like coming here, like really just solidified it of just how bad and awful it was. Because they had they had testimonies, they had like physical things that you could see of like, hey, this is what the blast did to what, this thing that shouldn't be bent is bent. They showed, of course, graphic photos of bodies and stuff. Kind of, I would say this closest would be to, because I know we've done this, I can compare it to that, to the Holocaust Museum, where it's like that level of
Gotcha. Like intensity.
yeah. There was actually a school group going through it, and you can see it out there. They kind of breeze through it because they're all like 6, so they probably don't understand some of that stuff. But
Yeah.
but there was multiple school groups that went through when we were there, and this is on a Wednesday, middle of the day. I did read that like they go like quite a bit. It's something that they really, really push to educate for them. But yeah, there's a lot about like why it was made or why the bomb was made, and they kind of, I think, get a very fair thing where they like, here's what American government would say why they made it. Here is what experts say why, and here's some testimonies of that kind of maybe contradict some of those statements, and they kind of really push that conclusion of this was just the U.S. wanting to really flex as a way to show Russia because they really
Right.
were worried that Russia was going to take over and that would be another communist nation or
Well,
whatever.
Stalin and FDR and Churchill made that agreement, and Stalin was like, "Any land I get, I can conquer, I claim." So, U.S. after FDR was like, "We need to stop him from getting anything. If we end the war immediately, he doesn't get anything."
Yeah.
Wasn't this during World War II though,
Yeah.
when Japan was like committing just like
Oh, no, I mean,
atrocities similar to Holocaust on the Chinese?
they mentioned that the Japanese government deserves blame for one being participants in the war at all, but they also really focused on like, they even had like a conversation about here's what some historians think is whether or not this is a war crime, crimes against humanity, maybe both. But it was the big thing to take out of this was like, never again, we can't allow this happen again. And that it actually could have been worse because of how the bomb blew up. If it landed on the ground, this place might
Well, it was
not
on
have
purpose that it landed.
right. But they said it could have
They
been.
time it.
They said,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
timed it. But like,
That's why people can live there now.
yeah, they said
'cause there wasn't
after a
radiation.
week, people were allowed to come back, and the
Yeah.
radiation was good. But they talk about how even to this day, I think I read that I think out of 100 people who you see who are living here, I think it was like I think I want to say it was I don't want I'm just guessing. I don't really remember the number, but it was a lot higher than I would have thought. I'm just gonna spitball. I think it was like out of 100, I think it was like 17 or something like that, are people who lived through it or who were affected by it, still live here
That
today.
are still living. Oh wow.
Yeah. So like, or maybe they didn't listen and they live downtown, but they're from this area and they were part of that rebuild and whatnot. But yeah, just like it was real sensitive, to go through and whatnot. But I thought it was really good. To me, what really got me though was like the testimonies of like children and stuff. Like they found
Yeah.
journals and stuff of like kids being like, yeah, I can't wait to go to school. I hope I ace my test today. And then that's the last thing they wrote, those kind of things. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, just testimonies of like what the blast looked like, people who survived it or people who were maybe further up in the mountains saw. Just adding more context to it. They also talked about how now it seems that like, it went from, oh, I think we're good. No, we're like, the clock, the midnight, 2 minutes to midnight kind of thing. They talked about how like it's been escalating the last couple of years because of Russia and whatnot. But yeah, they just really talked about like we shouldn't use these. This is what it does it did to innocent people. Here's how it affected like to this day how it still affects people. Like cancer is really bad in this area because of it. Some people were like thought they were good, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they have leukemia and they're dead in 4 months. You know what I mean? So it's just like that level of like awareness. And then here you can see is the last remaining building from the blast that they didn't change. They call it the Iron kind of. I think they call it Iron Dome or something like that. That's all in Japanese. Well, actually, there's some part here, but yeah, they wanted to tear it down originally, but then there was enough people who were like, no, we need something to like remember it by if we get rid of this, and it showed, and it's the best way to show the damage. And this was also like about a mile from, not even from the epicenter where it blew up. So it wasn't that far. And you can see
mile is still crazy though. That like this is the damage a mile away.
Yeah,
right,
and
walking
and
a
I'm
mile
really
like
bummed
far.
I didn't think about it until after we left. I'm like, oh, we could have. I'm like, I wonder if there's like a marker or something of where the bomb went off, and there is, and that's my one regret of this area.
Gotcha. Well, you got to go back.
I actually think, and I'll talk about that more at the end of this, where I think Hiroshima, for folks who maybe are interested in going, it was a good day trip, but I think you could spend 2 to 3 days here, because there's some stuff that we didn't have time for. And what's great about Japan is you can find things and all of a sudden you go down that rabbit hole and then you just spent 3 hours doing that. Because we only got Italian food in the subway.
Oh my god.
And I wanted to try Italian.
Carbonara.
I wanted to see what they did, and it's a little bit different, but it was still pretty good. But this was like they have restaurants in their subway station, so it's underground. And I feel like in America I would never do that, but here I'm like,
yeah,
now that makes sense. They have malls, basically just part of their
Right.
stations. Like Tokyo Station, for example, is just half of it's a mall actually, and then the other half is transportation. But there was a pop-up shop of these two artists who are selling like little like different. They have pins and stuff. Bryn got a hair clip that's a T-Rex from them,
Oh, wow.
Okay.
but they really are like, our pop-up shop is zombie themed for the most part. Like they had some horror stuff. They're like, they were like talking to us, and we're talking about horror movies and like what movies they liked. So it was really fun to talk to them about like, Dracula and stuff. And they
And
were
you
talking
said
about
Oni Chambara.
yeah, I actually don't think I mentioned that. I should have mentioned that.
I don't think you should have mentioned that.
But they're like, oh, they had like this tent. That's how we noticed in the first place. There was this tent across the way from the restaurant. There was just blood and stuff all over. I'm like, what the hell's going
Oh
on?
my God.
Like, let's go to it, whatever. And like, yeah, they were really cool and funny. And there was another guy I was talking to and explaining to him about Denver and like, oh, is there a lot of skiing there? I'm like, yes, a lot of skiing. There. So, but we were talking about horror movies and stuff, and they had this pop-up thing like, hey, take a photo with us. And we're like, sure. So yeah, we took a photo of us doing zombie, and they put it on their Instagram. We were really popular for a minute there. They're like, give us a monster face. And they were like, when they offered, they're like, we can do zombie makeup. I'm like, I can't do that today. I'm like, I can't, because they're like doing zombie makeup on people for free.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That's what they have on their face, right?
yeah. So that's why they're all decked out. But we're talking about them about Halloween. They're like, yeah, Halloween's more of a thing here now than it was like maybe 20 years ago. But in the last 10 years, Halloween's becoming more of a thing. And I think part of it is because they get to dress up. I think that's part of that the cosplay culture, I think, is what excites them about it. But yeah, they loved horror movies, and they were really funny people. So shout out to them.
Cool.
Then we did a pit stop at Hiroshima Castle. Didn't go inside, but kind of similar to Osaka Castle in terms of style. Once again, this is rebuilt for sure, because it did not survive the nuclear blast. I saw these cool pigeons chilling. Put that in there.
You think those pigeons know about New York City pigeons?
Probably not.
No,
that's
they don't
kind
speak the same language, so
it's a
be a language barrier.
It's fair.
Went to a Hiroshima Shukain Gardens, which dates back to the 16th century. A lot of this was also rebuilt. They showed photos of how it looked after the blast, and yeah, pretty much the mounds and stuff were still there, but it was just completely blown away. But all these koi fish just follow you around. They're just like, give me
feed
food.
me,
Feed me. And we went to another garden too, and there was the same thing where they're just everywhere, dude.
Oh my God.
Bryn took a photo here, but she had a different photo. I didn't put it in here because she was like mocking, because there was a girl ahead of us who we were constantly trying to like slow down, but she kept her boyfriend just kept taking like, Instagram model levels of photos of just like, I need 30 shots of me like, I'm just in Japan. It's just like, so Bryn originally had one where she was like doing stuff like that, but I didn't include it. But there's bamboo. Oh, this is a video, which, well, not as cool.
And that looks like you're on a safari with this squished landscape version.
It's hard to tell, but there is like a bridge that you can walk on, but it looked really tricky. I didn't even bother trying because I'm like, I don't need to fall in there. Here's this nice photo I found. I took while we were in Hiroshima. Then eventually we go back, and I had this really fucking good chai at Lilo Coffee, which was right near our hotel. We went there twice. I went there the next night because it was that good. Probably. So I'm like, but yeah, really fucking good coffee. But they're all like local. It was like a local folks who made it, and they're like younger people who made it. So, but the guy was saying it's like he has it to like a scientific way of brewing coffee, where he has like Excel sheets and stuff. He was saying of like brewing the right consistency,
temperature,
yeah, and like
flow rate.
Yeah, so I was just like, I respect it that you're not just Starbucks, you're doing something specific. But yeah, the chai was just like so good. Day 6.
Hey, there's David.
There's David.
I was gonna make the same joke about it.
Beat you to it.
Yeah. Well, I thought better of it. I was like, yeah, I don't know.
I don't think better at all.
we went to Kyoto. And once again, same with Hiroshima. You probably could spend a week in Kyoto. We barely like scratched the surface. At this point in the PowerPoint, I kind of was just like, I'm not gonna list on each slide. I just started doing. Here's what we did in the day. So yeah, we did Arashiyama Bamboo Forest, which is like a very popular forest. I know the forest from Gran Turismo, where you could take a photo of your car in there, and I have a photo on my
Oh my
PS5
God.
of that
That's funny.
spot. So I'm like, that's how I know of it. And then we did the monkey park, where you get to feed some monkeys, and then we went to the Toei Kyoto Studio Park, which I'll explain a little bit more in a bit. But yeah, Kyoto here, crossing the bridge. A lot of tourists here, but we were still able to get a shot. It makes it seem like no one was there, but a lot of people were here, taking photos and whatnot.
They got
It was pretty
ticks in
cool.
Japan.
I don't know. I didn't get ticked, so I don't know.
Just look at that tall brush that she's standing next to, and I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, after that, it's just
Ticks.
flat and then just bamboo. So maybe not. Yeah, this is like kind of the rivers and stuff. They said they've been having issues with droughts, which is surprising to me. But I guess climate change. So then we went to Monkey Park. Oh, this one actually
Oh, wow.
was normal for
Oh.
some reason. This is at the top. It was kind of a climb. It was about a 1.5 mile climb to get up top. So it was really hot. But at least it was like shaded for the most part. But all the
Gotcha.
monkeys are just out and about. They weren't out in this area, but they're near the feeding area more. But they were about, and they had rules where like, don't stare at them in the eyes. Don't
Oh my God.
like give them
Don't-
food that is not like approved. Like don't
Right.
give them anything. Just kind of ignore them when they come near you. But yeah, here's the feeding area.
Hey.
Bryn saying hi. And a little baby one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There's Ethan.
There's
Yep,
Ethan.
I'm on David's back right now.
I'm
But it was
always
really
carrying
cute.
you.
Some of the monkeys were yelling at each other too. It was kind of funny.
I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. I thought better of that.
Oh boy! Wow. I don't know what that could
Jeez.
mean. That could mean so many different things.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's some thing on the roof. Which I thought was funny. Just chilling up there. Then we went to. So this says soba. I learned that because this weird. What I looked at this is like the New York City logo, but sideways, and I remember that is.
That's funny.
It means so, and then this means ba. So soba. I think this says udon because the little Anubis, as I call it, is my way of remembering things. The little thing here is u. So and then udon is the end there. Brent had a coffee. And I had some soba because that's what they were advertising. So I said I might as well get that.
What is soba?
It's like just kind of like a plain noodle, and you kind of dip it into either like soy sauce or something. But it's like it sounds weird to say it, but it's refreshing because it's like wet. It's like a cold noodle, so it's
Hmm.
I don't know. I wound up that being my favorite meal.
Interesting.
It's something basic, but I feel like you could do a lot with it because you can do different like broths and stuff. But yeah, it was good. Then we went to Tohei Kyoto Studio Park for this main reason of seeing the giant Ava from Evangelion there. But what the main purpose of this park is actually it's a kind of like a Universal Studios, but a much much smaller scale, where they have different like eras of Japan like combined into one. So like one street will be like 1500s, and one will be like 1960s. Because at this park sometimes they shoot movies here, and they shot a lot of samurai movies in the 80s and 70s at this park. And there's actually a giant building, you can't see it in this photo, but to like kind of behind him there's a big like warehouse which is like where I think they shoot sets and have sets and shoot movies in. So but they had this giant Ava that kind of sticks out from the samurai stuff.
Geez.
And they had a whole thing where they take a photo for you. And then there's different interactive things you can do, and you get a like sanity level at the end. I didn't really fully understand it because it was in Japanese, but I don't know how depressed I am, but I guess it gave me a score on that. But I got to see my girl Masato in the flesh. That was pretty cool. Then they had you go
Even the
inside the
Flash.
thing, and it was supposed to be like you got to focus and you got to press the button at the right time. And I was waiting, and then the thing kind of just moved, and then it did and then it did one of the songs from the show, which was like kind of like a goofy thing, and I'm like, what? And I found out it was because they were trying to do like for the kids mostly, if it will drop, and it'll be you kind of like you getting like you falling, kind of getting shocked.
Gotcha.
Is like it's supposed to be like a gag.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but I was kind of just like
Confused.
kind of looking like
What
this, or I was like,
happened?
what happened?
You're like,
like
what?
was something I like because Bryn did it, and I was telling Bryn, I'm like, I don't know if I pressed the button fast enough, so maybe just like do it. And then the same thing happened. I'm like, I think it's like a gag, but I'm like, I don't know what the gag is. But then once I saw the photo of what it was trying to be, I was like, okay, it's for the kids
That's
who like
funny.
maybe get scared from it dropping.
Yeah.
But they had the music playing. They had all the same voice actors. You know what's happening. It's in Japanese though. But it was really cool to go through it. Then they had the near the shop back at the entrance. They had a museum dedicated to mostly Power Rangers, but all the what's the word Tokusatsu, I think is the word. Maybe I'm mispronouncing it. Live action like martial art kind of films.
And
Because a lot of
Super
people,
Sentai guys, right?
yeah. Because a lot of people think Power Rangers is like an American thing. I think a lot of Americans don't realize it comes from Japan, and it was a lot older.
Whenever they put
as
on those
well.
costumes, all of a sudden there's mountains around them, and they're in California. Like, yes,
Yeah.
they put in different footage for the American one.
Yeah, basically, they spliced in American actors for when they're out of the soup, and then they would use the Japanese for when they're fighting for the most time. But yeah, it's the whole history of them, and then Kamen Rider is also part of it because Kamen Rider kind of walked for Power Rangers to run a little bit. So Kamen Rider is still around to this day. There's been freaking 18 variations. I'm now starting a collection of Kamen Rider, even though I don't watch it. I'm just collecting different dudes because I think they look cool. But a whole museum about the history of it. As you can see, 2024 here. They have Power Rangers, and this is the original suit right here. Fucking baller. But yeah, you can see Ava in the back here, and this is what it looked like. But here's like one of the Power Ranger movies, one of the OG ones that they shot in this park. So I thought that was cool. But a lot of samurai movies. And then that night, I went to a thrift store. I went to a thrift store, and this is insane. I don't know if this video is gonna work. What the hell? Why are some working and not? I don't know.
Did you make this linearly? Because maybe you were doing something weird for the first few videos.
I don't know. Yeah, I did. So maybe it will get better from here on out. But yeah, here's just like one section that was just Ultraman and Godzilla, and I was losing my mind. But this is like
hold on, I need to rent a storage unit and get a truck.
I know. And some are more rare, but they have them all dated. Be like, hey, this is from 1987. This was made. But yeah, I was looking at this, and I wound up getting. Let me see if I can pause it, or I could point to it. I got one of the Gamera figures because I don't have much Gamera stuff at all. Where is he? Right there. I got him. But yeah, I found this. We were originally went to like a clothing store because I was like, I want to get some like Japanese clothes, like some like kind of style clothing, and I did get like a cool tank top, or a cutoff sleeve rather. But then Bryn's like, hey, they have Godzilla lighters here. And I'm like,
oh, it's a lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
it's a Zippo.
Yeah, Zippo lighter. And so I went over there, and this is like the store is very compact. Like there's not much walkway, so I'm like going through. But I'm sitting over there, and they had a bunch of masks too that we almost got. But I'm like, I'm worried it's gonna break on the way here. Because it's so big. Like there was like old samurai masks and shit. And I'm like, that would be fucking metal to have. But yeah, first I saw the Godzilla ones, but then I saw a Dino Crisis. And I'm like, no fucking way. If there wasn't the Godzilla ones, I 100% would have got this Dino Crisis 2 one.
Oh, you didn't get it?
That's hilarious.
No, I didn't get it. No, not for 1,900 yen. But I did spend
that is a lot.
A lot more on this that really hurt, but he kind of sold me on it. But he had three different Godzilla ones. He had this one. He had a Godzilla vs. Destroyer one. This is Godzilla vs. Mothra from 1992, as you can see here. But I think it was made in 97, this lighter, because it was like the end of these movies. Godzilla vs. Destroyer, which was 95, the last Godzilla movie at that point. Then there was a Shin Godzilla one that on the back only said it said 12 out of 75. So it was only 75.
Really?
And I'm like, and that was the cheapest one. But I told the guy, I'm like, I don't think I'm getting this one, but like, just letting you know, it's just 12 out of 75. So it might be more rare than you think because it was like the equivalent of like $90. And I'm like, I think this should probably be more. He's like, well, if you want it, I'll give it to you that price. And he Googled it. He's like, yeah, I probably should bump the price on this one. But that one was newer from 2017. It wasn't as cool looking. It had just like a reflective Shingorgier on there. But this one and the other one had like actual color and like, it had more character to it. But this one, this Malter one that I went up getting is unopened, unused. The other ones were used or had the wick burnt out on it. And it came with the case. The packaging's unopened.
Nice.
And I tried looking online. I've only seen one other online, and it's a little bit cheaper, but it's open and used. But yeah, he was like, dude, like if you're looking for something that's one of a kind, like yeah, these figures are cool over here, but like how many are left? Because how many of these, like let's say there's 100 made, how many of them are still if someone has, right? They could have been thrown away, used, whatever. So it really sucked to do it, but Breven Bryn was like, do it because you're gonna regret it. You're gonna come back. You're gonna be like, damn, I didn't get that Godzilla lighter. But I would have 100% got that Dino Crisis 2 lighter if there wasn't a Godzilla lighter. Because I was
Fair
like,
enough.
I'm like, this is.
How much is the Dino Crisis 2? What does that work out to be?
Let me look it up right now.
Take away 2 zeros, and that's ideally what they would like that price to be in dollars, right? $190.
$190.
But obviously, with the exchange rate the way it is, it's less. It's probably something like 100, right?
It's $127 right now in USD.
Oh wow!
And I paid